What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you my internal automations and operations that I leverage to retain as much revenue as possible whenever I'm offboarding clients. And what it looks like from a technical perspective is an email like this that we send to the clients. So the first thing is that we're going to be requesting a testimonial, and this is what the testimonial submission page looks like. So we give them instructions, ask them to submit that. The next thing we do is we give them an option to submit a referral. And so if they have anyone that's a good fit, they can submit them over here. We'll follow up. And if we close them, we even give them a bonus of $500. And then we also give them a description of when the subscription is ending. In this particular case, it's July 31st. And then we give them an option to actually pause the subscription. And so what this actually means is that typically they're paying a retainer $4, $5, $6,000. And then when they pause the subscription, so all they have to do is simply reply to this email, and we're going to present an option to them that's like $500, $1,000, something like that. And what this is going to allow us to do is maintain their inboxes and domains, ensuring that when they come back to work with us, we don't have a 2-week warm-up period. And by the way, everything here that you're seeing, including the video that we send them, so this is a goodbye message, it's a custom video that we're sending them. All of this is happening with the assumption that we did a great job in our overall process and that the client is going to want to come back to us. And so that's what this is. It's not like a, hey, bye, leave us, we'll never work with you. It's like, hey, we're going to say goodbye for now, and we're going to say it in the best way possible. And this is how we're going to approach that. And this automation is also what helps us. And so in a situation where the client really just wants to leave and whatever, we're also going to be removing their smart lead client add-on the specific day that they end. And so we can send this email, say, on June 25th, and then on the 31st, on the final day, we're going to be removing the client add-on, and I'll show you like how we delay the automation runs and all that stuff. And then we also cancel the subscriptions moving forward. And if they decide that they want to pause this subscription, we will obviously create a brand new subscription type, which is a lower price. And then we also create a Google Drive folder. So this is an offboarding folder, and it has any relevant information that the client might want to take with them. And so in this particular case, we're creating a leads file, and this is what the leads file looks like. And so all of the engaged leads that have worked like come to us will be here. So the full name, company name, website, email, mobile phone numbers, they're going to have like a large list of people that they can even follow up with and that type of stuff, right? And the reason why we create it as a folder is because we can also add other types of files. And so some other types of files that you can consider adding is like a Google Doc showcasing the different emails that you've sent, a Google Doc. So we even have like an onboarding document, right? So we have an onboarding document, so you can have that stored inside the shared folder and all that stuff, right? Anything that you feel like the client is going to really value, that would go there. And again, the reason we do this is obviously to try to retain revenue, but it's a long-term mindset, because if we deliver a great outcome for the clients that we're working with, sometimes they cancel for reasons outside of our control. And in those particular situations, we want to give ourselves the best shot that the clients come back to us. And if they don't decide to come back to us, we want to give ourselves the best shot that they give us different clients in either one of these options, right? So either they're going to give us a testimonial that we can leverage, or they give us a referral that we can also leverage. And so next thing we do is we just do some admin tasks. So over here, we're finding all of the domains, deleting, moving them to the deactivated status. And so what this actually looks like, we can go into the domains section over here. And so these are all of the domains, and this is how they typically look like. We're basically just moving them from domain setup completed to domains deactivated, right? Next thing is campaign tasks, right? So obviously we're able to create campaigns quickly. We have a campaign section, which we just delete the tasks that exist there. Next thing is client comms. And so let's go to client comms. inside client comms, this is where we send all of the emails, right? And so we've got the client offboarding email over here, and we've got a subject line, we've got an email draft, email recipients, all of this stuff. This stuff is happening uh over here. So the moment we offboard the client, it's going to create an onboarding email like this, right? So it's just got all of the same information that we've got over here, right? And then from here, the video is typically not here, right? So we can actually just remove the video. This is what it looks like when it's here. So it's got like create a goodbye message for our beloved client. And so let's just put something like, you know, you are beloved, just like that, right? And then at this point, we want to record a video just saying goodbye, thank you for everything, whatever. And then we paste that video. And so this is like a Loom video. We just get the Loom link and we paste it here. And then there's different email types. And so we've got onboarding emails, performance report, testimonials. This in particular is the client offboarding email. And then at this point, we would simply just move it. We would move it over. And so this is the automation that it's going to trigger. It's going to trigger an automation that sends an email. And let's go ahead and run it. Where is it? Yeah, so client comms. All we need to do at this point, send a test email. And over here, we've got recipients. It would just, for this particular one, it's just creating an email draft. So that goes to me. But we also have the recipients that come from the original client task, right? So this is actually where they would be. So client offboarding recipients, right? So we would have the recipients here. And so we can dynamically send it to the specific client. And so let's refresh. It's over here. And then thank you for working with us. And if you recall, you are beloved. We would greatly appreciate your testimonial. Alternatively, boom, boom, boom. We've got all this stuff, right? And it's happening dynamically, right? And also these short links are great because it allows us to redirect it to any specific method that we want. And so at this current point in time, I'm leveraging ClickUp forms, right? So the clients can submit referrals, they can submit testimonials, and it would just come in here as a brand new task with a sample, with a website, with an attachment, with an email. And then we would simply just move it over into the closed status, right? And obviously we can have different types of forms. And so right now we have the referral and the testimonial form. We can also have a form for any tickets. Like if a client has any support tickets that they might want to have, they can just have submitted via form. It would come here, be assigned to a specific person. In this particular case, it would be me, and then I would just analyze it here and then work with the ticket that way. But right now it's just referral and testimonial. And by the way, we go back to client comms over here. So we go to client comms and we're currently working on the offboarding. But as you can see, we have a testimonial request. We also have an upsell request. Not relevant. Testimonial request, right? And so whenever we're having like a hot streak where we're doing a really good job for the specific client, we can have an email, a client comms email pop up over here. And when it pops up over here, we're basically just going to have a similar system, right? So it creates an email draft like, hey, in the past week, like we've generated 20 leads and this is amazing. Like if you're loving what we're doing for you, just submit a testimonial. It's going to include this link over here. They click on it. It's going to give them all of the instructions, right? These are the instructions that I've got. It's going to give them a sample video that they can analyze to see how the testimonials should look. And then boom, we get a testimonial, right? And so the main thing that you're gonna take away from this, as you're analyzing this, it's like the systems are three-dimensional. They work for everything. So it's not like, oh, I've just built this one particular small little tiny little system to do client offboarding. No, I also use the same system for onboarding. I use the same system for performance reports. I use the same system for a testimonial, client of everything, right? And so from an operational perspective, that's really the biggest takeaway. It's just realizing like building systems that are dynamic enough to work with your entire operations stack, essentially. And this client comm section, that's exactly what it does. And I think that it's going to have a really good ROI with regards to retaining revenue whenever clients churn. And so whenever we offboard clients, right? So we go into the client section over here. So we've got the clients list over here. And so we can click on any particular client. We're going to have the dates, right? And so I should actually have a start date. But whatever. This is just me, right? So anyways, we have a due date, right? And so if we're offboarding the client on July 31st, we would just put the July 31st over here. And then we would move the status to deactivated, right? And so when we move the status to deactivated after triggering July 31st, it's going to have this automation run. So the client offboarding automation. And what this is going to do is it's going to check whether the due date exists. If the due date doesn't exist, it's going to post a comment and say, hey, you need to change the due date. When we change the due date again, it's going to trigger this automation again. And over here, every single one of these has a filter, which is like due date is later than or equal to now. So due date is later than or equal to now. And it's not for everything, right? So for example, in the Stripe one over here, it's not there. And in this one, it's a different one, which is delayed, does not exist, right? And I'll explain all of these, right? So due date is later than or equal to now, basically means that if the due date in this particular case, um, oh, actually, you know what? It should be earlier than or equal to. Yeah, it should be earlier than or equal to. What this means is that for this, since it's happening on Wednesday, we don't actually want to run this yet. And the reason we don't want to run this is because it's doing things like deleting the client add-on. It's deleting client comms tasks. It's deleting campaign tasks. It's doing a whole bunch of stuff that we don't necessarily want to do. And it's also making it harder for us to get the pause thing. So for me, like in my terms and conditions, I have a 14-day notice period. So if clients want to cancel, they just got to tell me 14 days before. And so if they tell me 14 days ago, we don't necessarily want to delete everything today. We want to wait until the actual date, right? And so this is just delaying it, right? And so ignore the later than or equal to. It should actually be earlier than or equal to. Anyways, at the top over here, after we've created the offboarding email, we're going to be leveraging a data store. And so this is the information that I put inside the data store. This is what a data store looks like. So this is a pretty new system, so there's nothing over here, but it would basically have the task ID, the offboarding date, and then whether it's completed or not. And so we can actually just add it. So like task ID, which is 2/1, offboarding date, which is on the 31st, and then completed is false. So we could save, right? And then it would trigger this automation. So this automation runs every single day. And what this looks for is basically tasks that are earlier than or equal to now, or equal to false. In this particular case, nothing popped up. And the reason why is because we go back to the data store, the offboarding date is later than today. And so let's actually do it the 22nd. So this is earlier than. We got to save it. And so when we click save and we rerun this over here, now we've got an actual record, right? So what this means is that now it's before. So since this is running every day, it's checking for any tasks that are still, it's basically checking like to see whether it's the day, right? And so once we've determined that, we're going to send the information back into here. And the information that we send back is basically just like the ID, because we are also getting the task, so we don't need anything special. We just need the ID, and we also need the due date. So this is the payload. It's in both the ClickUp and inside this automation over here. And we also send one that says like delayed over here. And so the delayed is basically just ensuring that we don't recreate the folder again because it's already there and all of this stuff has already happened by this point. And so next thing we do is we simply just check the checkbox, right, to make it say completed, which is false, which is true. And now when we save this over here and we rerun this, it's gonna be gone because we've already checked that it's true and we've delayed the run. So that's it. That's how it's done. Hope this was helpful. Cheers.